Welcome to Analytical Autumn, the series where we'll be going through a couple of the most instinctively difficult, but intrinsically extremely valuable technical skills that'll take you through far beyond where your career is today. These are technical skills that are especially important for young professionals learning to grow in their career. They may seem like basic technical skills, but they're very common shortfalls with most young professionals. This fall, we'll be going through these skills every single week. In September, we'll be covering budgeting and basics of finance from a technical standpoint. In October, we'll be going through presentation skills and public speaking. In each of these two skills, we'll be starting the first week with basics, followed by some tools and tips, and ending the month with goals to enhance these skills and how to make them yours. As we go through the details of each of these skills, join us in the comments by sharing your preferences and suggestions to incorporate into the videos. Happy analyzing! Budgeting. Budgeting is the foundation of finance. Whether you're a financier or still learning the basics of finance for non-finance professionals, budgeting is a skill that you incorporate into your daily personal life or into your business skills. Whether or not you work in sales, it is critical for you to understand business budgeting. And of course, every single adult needs to be proficient, not just a little bit familiar with, but rather extremely proficient with personal finance budgeting. Let's dive in. What does it mean when we talk about budgeting from a personal standpoint? It is critical to understand that every single human being has a net worth, and it's not just a term to be used with famous people who have a high net worth, but rather something to understand for every adult. Net worth is essentially the culmination of all of your income streams put together, minus your debts and your daily expenses, whether that be for needs or for little luxuries and wants, in addition to your savings and, of course, investments, which are the level 2 of savings. It's not just high earners who can invest their money, but everyday people can definitely find ways to invest strategically and to fit their personal convictions. Your income projections, meaning your understanding of what to anticipate from your income streams, are your definition of how your spending budgets can be framed. Spending budgets create structure for daily life when it comes to defining whether or not you can spend on a particular category or not. This is where you can understand what your categories of spending are in terms of needs or wants. It is a deeply personal exercise, but one that is very critical for successful life. For me personally, our family works on a very thorough budgeting process for our personal finances. I'm more of an executor when it comes to ensuring that we are maintaining the vision that we set for the year. My husband is extremely creative and thinks outside the box. He's taught me a lot about thinking about our finances in a creative manner when it comes to thinking about the categories and how to make our income streams a lot more efficient. When we look at the major big tickets for every single person in their spending categories, a lot of it goes into debt, whether that's a mortgage for your home, credit card debt, which is a very common pitfall, repeat spending, and anything owed. Your saving grace here will be your investments and your savings. But it's really an important exercise to determine whether or not your spending is for a need or want, and what that definition of a need is. Is it required and essential for you to live, meaning a roof over your head, some food in your belly? And again, you could dive deep into that spending category. Let's take food, for instance. A major pitfall for most people You could order out every day or spend a lot of money on ingredients to cook at home, but you might be highly inefficient. Take the time to really analyze what you're doing to fulfill that category. It doesn't mean that everybody needs to be living on a homestead, growing their own food, and being extremely frugal, but it does mean that one needs to be moderate in how they view each category, namely food here. Spend some time to dissect the spending on a weekly basis. Analyze your grocery list and see where you can cut down. Business finance budgeting includes so many different variables to consider. When it comes to setting sales budgets, the variables to consider determine how you're going to set these targets. These may differ from industry to industry, from product line to product line, geography to geography, and even customer segments from one to another. It's critical to look at a market landscape from a bird's eye view. Understand what the economy looks like. Be in tune with the political situation. And define those customer or client categories very thoroughly. Pricing is a very simple way of defining your budgets. A little bit more control is present there when it comes to how much gross profit you're anticipating and the intended revenue. When it comes to defining the time frame, you could look at it annually or on a quarterly split, or even from a monthly standpoint. It all depends on the purpose. Now, we're defining the basics, but next week we'll be delving into some of the tools that you can utilize, what exists out there, and what could help you become more streamlined and efficient in the budgeting process. Again, whether it comes to personal budgeting or business finance. Happy watching!